Hey there, Ash Pitt, Atlassian Practice Manager here at Strategenics. I'm going to take you through the new UI in Jira that is rolling out very shortly. You'll notice from what I'm showing here on the screen that the navigation's predominantly moved to the side where it used to be up the top. So you'll see here that you've got the usual create button. So everything that you will want to create from a work item will appear here. It'll open down this little sidebar here. You can go full screen to open that up, and you get that classic view that you're after. Now, you can search for everything. So this will give you the ability to search, depending on the apps that you have, you'll be able to search easily across those. Obviously, Jira is going to be the first one that comes up, and that will allow you to find things pretty easily. Now here over on the side, what's happened here is that you've got a lot of the items that were already there at that top menu, but now they are more easily accessible here. It can also be collapsed easily as well. So if you don't need this, you can just get it out of the way. Now you've got the For You section, which will essentially show, you got the recent, so that'll show you the recent sections or recent tickets, projects, all of that stuff, work items that you have access, and give you the ability to view all of that recently anyway, so it takes you through that dashboard. The starred section is still here. Once again, I'm using a demo screen at the moment, so you won't see any of that. Standing, all of the apps that you had available as well. If there's any particular settings or things that need to be installed, that's here. These are just recommended apps that come on up as well, based on the access that I have. Feature, this is where you'll see roadmaps. If you're using product discovery and all of that, that's where you can see roadmaps, plans, also accessible from here as well. I would say though, is just around your projects. So all of your projects will be available here. You'll be able to access recent. Now, if you want to view all projects and use it the old way, that's fine. You can have a search here, and that'll essentially do what you need to do. Filters and dashboards are quite easily accessible as well. And depending on the application, so if you have Jira Service Management, your operations will be easily accessible. And if you have configured teams, that is also available here as well. Once again, JSM sets, that's available as a quick, nice little shortcuts, as is goals if you're using. This is a function that I really like as well. So some of these things are really cool and that's great, but they might not matter to me. The other thing is that if you are a project administrator, now it's quite easy to actually access your project settings rather than having to click into the project and then go to your project settings page. It's actually all accessible from here, the main things that you'd need. So if you need to add people into that project, you can do that here, or you can just go to the project settings directly here, and then that will take you through into the project settings that you needed and just nicely back out that way. Now, as far as a particular project view, there has been an update to that as well. So I'm going to quickly go through and show you, this is an ITSM project, but you can see here, a Jira Service Management project, but each project you can enable a summary view, and this will actually give you a dashboard that gives you a bit of an overview of, for example, the statuses, customer satisfaction, request types, team workload, priorities, all of that stuff, which is fantastic. But if I go into, say, I want to look at a business project, so let's have a look over here at our design project. See if we've got some data here for that. Now everything is set up here in tabs, so you can still see all of your boards that are available. Now you can choose what's going to be more relevant to your team. So you can say, hey, you might want people to go here and go straight to the board, and that might be the predominant function there. However, you can also rename your tabs. So maybe summary isn't the terminology that you like. You might want to say it's dashboard or stuff. Let's go with stuff. You can rename that here. So easy to move that around. And once again, setting up your default views. Now you can also add additional items to navigation. So you can start to bring this out. At the moment, we just have boards, right? But you can change, you can add boards and those things. But one of the things that's going to be great, especially if you're using a Jira software project, but you might have a business function, and you probably don't need to necessarily have components available. Or you might just want your team to come in here and just use a board and not worry about reports or those things. That's what can be set up here in this new view as well. One of the biggest things to call out, and this has rolled out, that these are not necessarily Jira issues anymore. They finally changed. Really, it's any kind of work item that can be put on there. But look, as far as everything else, though, as far as your actual boards and your data, as far as the layout of your your work items, I'm still saying that. That's all still the same. You'll just notice a bit of a UI UX change. Sorry, UI, user interface, UX, user experience. What will happen there? You lodge this and that will go through to Atlassian and they'll look at that for you as well. Thanks.